Good evening and good to have you with us in the 9 p.m. edition of the Urban Debate. Tonight, viewers, we speak about an issue that while has been in the news and has triggered much conversation and outrage on social media, hasn't really been spoken about much the last few days as a serious concern. And I see this as a serious concern when in a country, a stand-up comedian lands up in jail for a joke or for the kind of jokes he may have done in the past and he may have done in the future. Kind of jokes he may have cracked at an event had it been allowed before the ruckus was created. If you haven't heard, stand-up comic who otherwise originates from Gujarat, it's been based in Mumbai, was performing in Madhya Pradesh, Munawar Farooqui, on the night of January 1st, was arrested by the Madhya Pradesh police on charges of hurting religious sentiments. This was the charge. As things stand right now, he is going to be in judicial custody till January 27th. He would have spent about a month in jail for jokes that certain people did not like. The main objecting person, complainant here, a BJP legislator's son, who even created ruckus at his gig, stopped the event. And if you haven't seen that video, you must watch it online, where the stand-up comic very patiently tries to reason it out with this man, requests him to sit through the event, to listen to his performance and his jokes before deciding. But the man's already decided in his head that I don't like Munawar Farooqui and I don't like his jokes. And he files a complaint. Police is there swift in action, arrest this man for outraging religious feelings, for cracking jokes about religious deities, for cracking jokes about certain leaders in our country. And that seems to have upset, which is now a case in court. And that brings us to the other aspect, the law that is used to put him behind bars, the law that was used to book him to a point where he continues to be behind bars for straight 15 days. That law, does it need a relook? If you've been charged with intent to hurt religious sentiments and to cause trouble, which is very subjective, honestly speaking, then is there nothing that can save you or protect you? Do we need to relook at that law? Is a question I'm going to be asking today. Let's say good evening to our panelists, Mr. Gunjan Singh, advocate with the Supreme Court, Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate with the Supreme Court, Anshu Moore, a stand-up comedian, joins us this evening, and Rahul Ishwar, social activist, also with us this evening. I want to go across to Sanjay Hegde to ask one question that everybody seems to be asking. You can get jailed in our country for a joke. Legally speaking, is there anything to protect people who do crack political jokes or religious jokes in our country, Sanjay Hegde?
No, there's none. There's nothing which makes an exception for humor, satire, parody. No, we are a humorless nation when it comes to law. We have a very strict definition of what constitutes speech which is likely to cause hurt to religious sentiments. We apply it liberally. We also have apply sedition laws liberally. We apply a whole host of laws to generally say, shut up, don't talk beyond your station.
But in this case, for example, the police seems to suggest that they don't have a video proof of these allegedly, objectionable jokes. some of the jokes he would have cracked would have been 4 years ago. Others he didn't at this event. There is no evidence of it. Then what explains, Mr. Hegde, the fact that Munawar is still in jail?
He is in jail because he has been remanded to judicial custody. The FIR has been filed, an arrest has been made. He can be let out only when the court grants him bail, because the FIR is under a recognizable offence and a cognizable non-bailable offence. So bail has to be granted by the court. And let me also tell you that there is something in what I call Thanedar justice in this country. The moment the Thanedar's basic idea is that there should be no disturbance in his precincts. So if there is going to be any trouble, the first thing is that the source of trouble, you better lock him up so that nobody gets at him. Once you lock him up, then thereafter the court system can process it. Whenever he gets out, he gets out. That is exactly what has happened in this case. And because this case has gained national attention, certain courts also probably feel inhibited in otherwise granting bail. So the trial court says, no, I will not grant bail, let it go to the High Court. And the High Court today could not hear the matter because the police did not bring the case diary.
Yes.
If you see that we have very fine judgments of the Supreme Court which deal with personal liberty, I will agree. But if you tell me that they are uniformly implemented in this country, I will not agree.
Oh, 100%. And it's really your luck where you land up. And you know how much access you have if you're able to go all the way to the Supreme Court and get the date and a court to hear you. You may have your personal liberties respected, but if you are stranded in a smaller court, then there are many questions and doubts. I mean, I just want our viewers to understand this. Munawar Farooqui has filed for bail now in the High Court. He's managed to get a team that's supporting him, advising him legally. They've gone to the High Court, applied for bail, and today nothing happened in the case because the police told the court, oops, sorry, we forgot the case diary. This was the excuse given, and there was nothing that could have been done. And so another date has now been given because our courts are overloaded with cases in this country, many of which perhaps shouldn't be in courts, but they are. And now it's going to take many more days before Munawar's plea can be back. Maybe by then the smart prosecutor lawyers would have found another excuse. If they found the case diary, they would have found another excuse to get another date. That's what happens. But Gunjan Singh, one of the sections that has been used against Munawar for jokes that he allegedly cracked 4 years ago or was going to crack, there is some confusion there as well, is Section 295A, a deliberate and malicious act intended to outrage religious feelings of any class by insulting its religion or religious beliefs. How much hope should he have about coming out of jail and how soon? He's not a criminal. He's not been part of any violent acts or riots, but this is the section used against him. What does it mean?
Tanvi, let me begin by saying that it is totally a bogus case. And when you said that when he'll come out of the jail, let me tell you that even police knows that he's going to come out of jail very soon. Now, you see, there is a pattern that in all the cases, I happen to be a lawyer of Faisal Khan, who was accused of offering namaz in a temple in UP. And he came out of jail. These are all cases where police even knows that they're going to come out of jail. There is no case made out, but they are just harassed and they'll be arrested. They'll be languishing in jail because they'll know that it will go to the High Court, Supreme Court, and not everybody can go there. So this is just intended to keep them in jail till the time they get bail. No case is made out in this case because I was reading an article where even the police who is investigating the case, he only said that there is no joke, there is no evidence. They're planning to crack a joke. Now, with this apprehension, can you arrest a person with such serious sections? There is no evidence. Do they have any evidence? No, not at all.
But then what explains, Mr. Gunjan Singh, the fact that his judicial custody has been extended? How does that work in law for a common man to understand when the police is not able to show the evidence of what is objectionable?
Now, that is the sad part. Justice Chandrachud in Arnav Goswami's case rightly said that the lower judiciary is the frontline defender. And unfortunately, in our country, lower judiciary in these cases, particularly cases relating to personal freedom and liberty, fails to protect that liberty. And that is a sad case. Where in cases like this, when on the face of it, when we know there is no evidence, where the judge on the very first day should have granted bail and rejected police claim, failed to grant bail. That is the sad part.
Okay. Point well taken. In that case then, Anshu More, do you have a legal team that vets your jokes before every gig? We have two lawyers here who may be able to help you out otherwise.
I should hire if there's if there's anybody out there who would want to protect comedians, please, join us, help us. I don't know. I'm even scared to say anything right now, but I was very amused.
Because you said that, may I just say this, Anshu?
The system tells us.
We actually, along with you, we did try to reach out a lot of your other colleagues and peers, a lot of whom have actually spoken on social media and tweeted about it on Instagram, but nobody wanted to come and speak up. And so thank you. I'm actually going to say this. Thank you for at least coming here and being part of this conversation. Otherwise, it becomes really difficult to bring a story out to the viewers as well.
Should I say bye to my family and all? Right?
Go ahead, please.
Let me just make a few points out here. First, when Sanjay sir said that, the system, when the system says that, system basically is telling us that don't talk above your stature. And it's amazing that for some reason, comedians have become a threat to this country. Our words are taken so seriously, even when the show says it's a comedy show, even when the audience has come there to watch comedy. But for some reason, we've become a big threat. There is this whole notion of saying that religious sentiments were hurt. And all of us comedians, we respect religious sentiments and we're careful about those sentiments. But in this particular case, it seems like religious sentiments of a political party were hurt. Because there were people in the audience who were there who had paid money to watch this show. None of them got up and said the show should be stopped. 4 people came in, from a political party and did this. Why don't you just let it be? Why don't you let the audience decide? If you think that in this country, religious sentiments are getting hurt by a comedy show, then trust me, let Munawar play on, let him do this kind of comedy. Audiences will stop coming. His career will be over. Like, why are you jumping in and, speaking on behalf of the country when it comes to personal matters like religious sentiments? It is just, we all know, Tanvi, we all know that, this is politics being played. It's clearly politics. It's not the first time religion has been used on a stage. Political parties do it in, day out. And it's not one party. All of them have done it. They've used religion for votes. They've used religion to incite, people in general. None of them have been in jail. None of these guys. I mean, people have gone on the streets in this country and said, Goli Maro or whatever, they've said. I didn't see anybody walking in and putting them into jail immediately. Somehow, a comedian who's in a comedy show, saying it's a comedy show. It's not a speech. It's not a political speech. It's not a TED talk. It's nothing. It's a comedy show meant to make people laugh. And somehow when it comes to that, every political party is scared. I have, it's just amazing how scared people are of comedy in this country now. And tell me, when you say sentiments are hurt, what do we joke about, Tanvi? Let's say if I joke about married life, which I normally do, right?
Yes.
Some married person can say, all the married people can say that, our sentiments are getting hurt because you're cracking jokes on marriage, you're cracking jokes on airplane travel, you're cracking jokes on, your son or whatever it is. Like, it's for the audience to decide. A political party coming into it, doing that whole thing, putting this guy in jail, and we've seen what has happened, right? Today's example is prime. I've been told that the police station is 5 minutes away from the court and they couldn't they couldn't produce the case diary. So we got to really rethink, especially the courts have to come into play. The Prime Minister of this country had put out a tweet many years ago saying, sense of humor is good.
Yeah.
And it's just unbelievable that comedians, one after the other, are being targeted either through social media or through legal cases, or people are going into comedy clubs and breaking them. I mean, where does it stop?
Yeah, I get the point that you're making.
These, the entire country watching right now, you could be in a party talking about something and somebody could come inside your house.
Yes. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. You could be WhatsApping about it, and that could become the next big problem as well. When you see your WhatsApp chats floating around, and you could be in jail again. I think there is just a lot of right now question marks on, well, where do you draw the line, Rahul Ishwar? Where do you draw the line? It's very clear in this case. The man who objected didn't want to listen to the other side. The entire audience kept telling him, we don't have a problem. Let this comedian tell his jokes. We are here to hear his jokes because we love his comedy. They still managed to file a complaint, put him behind bars. And the police obviously has found an excuse today to not let him go by saying, we don't have the case diary. Is that fair?
Tanviji, I'm a Hindu right-wing activist. Even though I disagree, I respect your sense of outrage. And I also respect a very senior legal luminary Sanjay Sir's sense of cynicism. But I would like to raise a broader point, whether do we have a right to offend? That's the core question here. I sincerely hope and pray Munawar gets the bail fast. I don't think anybody should be in jail for that. But there is a larger premise to it. Whether it be any religion, whether it be Hindu, Christian or Muslim, do we have a right to offend? And somewhere there should be a Lakshmana Rekha. It cannot be an absolutely free for all, and it cannot be an absolutely anarchic kind of a society. Every community have their own sensibilities and sensitivities. When Da Vinci Code was launched, Supreme Court was very swift and right in saying that this shouldn't demean Jesus Christ as a historical figure, and there should be a disclaimer. I am a part of a group which gave case against innocence of Muslims, which really demeans Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Similarly, we were also a part of a group that won against M.F. Hussain, against Kerala left government giving him award. So please remember that there are Lakshmana Rekhas and there are some lines that nobody should cross. Of course, you can debate whether Munawar crossed that line or not, whether he should definitely get the bail fast or not. But there is a broader principle that there needs to be Lakshmana Rekha. It cannot be only seen in the liberal paradigm. There are sensitivities.
So for how long, Rahul Ishwar, should one be in jail for offending you with a joke? Is there a booklet for that? That if a joke offends 5 people and their religious sentiments, he needs to be in jail for what, a month? Or a year or 5 years? How long should he be in jail for it? Because the police doesn't seem to be in a mood to get this case going anywhere.
I agree with that, and I agree with the sense of outrage, the tone of that outrage in it. I hope he gets bail fast. But please remember, there is a broader paradigm regarding whether there is a right to offend, whether there are Lakshmana Rekhas, whether there are some lines that should be crossed.
But how do you get offended with something that you've not heard? How do you get offended with a joke that you weren't present for, that you didn't hear, that you didn't watch? What are you getting offended about?
See, definitely the details of the case I have also gone through. I hope some kind of justice is really given fast. But at the same point of time, the larger paradigm should also be there. That there are limits of free speech. And please remember, free speech is not absolute. There are lines of free speech which can end in hate speech. So when one says that there is absolutely no limit for free speech, it can end up in Islamophobia, it can end up in anti-national trends, it can end up in demeaning casteist comments. So free speech has certain limits and we should respect that.
Except when free speech becomes hate speech by politicians, and then you can make as many as you want and maybe get by with a simple notice from the Election Commission, and that's that. Yeah. You can even go on and win an election and become a constitutional post holder in this country, in states across this country. But when a comedian cracks a joke, suddenly we find offense in that, even when he's not cracked this joke apparently at that gig. Now, all of our panelists wanted to respond here. So let's go one by one. Anshumol, to you first on the content part of it, and then we will go to our legal experts.
I actually, Tanvi, because you're taking this issue up and you're one of the rare persons who are actually taking this issue up, just a very quick thing, just to help the country understand what stand-up comedy is. Okay, in stand-up comedy, it's a global thing that you make fun of authority, of power, of something above you. You don't punch down, you make fun, right? So if anybody is getting scared about comedians making political jokes, etc., please understand, even if there was a different political party, we would still be making jokes. In the US, all comedians made jokes about Trump. Trust me, now Biden has come, they will make jokes about him, right? It is nothing to do with an agenda. The agenda, with Rahul was saying, this agenda of giving hate speeches, we all know how many hate speeches have gone in this country for decades in the name of religion, in the name of asking for votes. None of these guys are inside jail. Okay, they are not brought into the jail immediately. The country needs to understand what is comedy. What is said on a comedy stage is not a speech, first of all. It's an act. Think of it as a movie or a music or whatever it is, right? It's just an act to make people laugh. If they don't laugh, comedians will do something else, will change the material. In this case, the audience was okay with it. The audience has been okay with it, with his acts for a long time now. It is, the way we are doing this is wrong. Like I asked you earlier, where do you stop? Tomorrow, if you're in a party, somebody says, I might get offended about the fact that my roads outside my apartment complex are not done properly. They have potholes. Somebody might die. Who are you putting in jail for that? I'm getting offended right now. Will you put it? I mean, for real things, nobody's getting offended. We're just being drawn into this, aspect of religion and politics, which regular citizens have nothing to do with it. And we're just getting caught. Comedians are getting caught. Tomorrow it will be a singer who will get caught. Some actor will get caught. Whoever is in the limelight will get caught. I think Absolutely. We've got to put a stop to it. The courts need to understand this. The political parties need to understand this, that no comedian, I have to give you a guarantee on behalf of all the comedians, Tanvi, no comedian has a political agenda, has a religious agenda, is trying to deliver hate. We get up in the morning, we sleep at night, and in that entire process, we are thinking of how to make people laugh. That is it. And comedians should be the last people you should be worried about if you're insecure about, whatever it is.
To the point that you made, even if you see the video and the crowd is actually getting agitated by these interruptions that the Neta's son is making and by the way that he's behaving, and the crowd begins to, start slamming him, and they are yelling out at him and telling him to get out and let it be. And it's Munawar Farooqi who repeatedly asks them to calm down, who repeatedly says, no, let's reason this out. Let me speak to him. Let me try and convince him. And he constantly keeps requesting this guy to please sit and listen to my performance and tell me if you find anything offensive. That's the extent to which stand-up comics now have to go in our country to justify their content, their humor. Sanjay Hegde, you wanted to make a point to what Rahul was saying earlier. Go ahead, please.
No, I now want to make a point to what Anshu was saying.
Yes.
Why are comedians so feared? They are feared because they are corrosive. We are a pompous race of people. We are whatever our seats are. I am a minister. You dare not laugh at me. Firstly. Secondly, nobody realizes that comedy is very, very serious business. Only serious people can actually make good comedians. My senior, who was Attorney General of India, was was one of the greatest lawyers this country produced. But he had a great sense of humor. And once while arguing in court, the judge asked, "Oh, Mr. Ramaswamy, do you think we are fools sitting up here?" He looked at him deadpan and said, "Your Lordship has put me in a difficult question. If I say yes, it would be contempt. But if I say no, it would be perjury." Now, a very serious message was sent to the judge. Don't be pompous. And it was said. The thing is that people fear being laughed at. We need, as a country, to be much more open to being made fun of and making fun of the others. Now, for instance, religious feelings. My religious feeling as a Hindu are greatly offended by Rahul Ishwar drawing a Lakshman Rekha on my speech. I think as a proud religious Hindu, only Lakshman can draw a Lakshman Rekha. Nobody else can presume on his behalf. Who's Rahul Ishwar? He has offended my sense of the Ramayana.
Yes, Rahul
Those are
Ishwar.
my 2 points.
I would be happy to see a legal luminary like Sanjay sir drawing Lakshman Rekha, because somewhere the line has to be drawn. See, the point is we have to be very realistic. The point is, world over, we have to be, world is having a lot of diversity. And unless we are sensitive to the diversity, it will only end up in mutual hatred. The only submission here is everyone respects creativity and liberty, but equal to creativity is responsibility, and equal to liberty is some kind of responsibility, accountability, respecting each other's sentiments. So this aspect cannot be ignored. That's the only submission. Creativity, liberty, are all subjected to sensitivity and responsibility. So the aspects of sensitivity and responsibility should be respected, and it cannot be totally forsaken.
No, but where do you stop? Then where do you draw the line? And this is exactly why I have a problem with even some of these laws, which are so open-ended and subjective to interpretation. Anybody's sensibilities can get offended for various kind of reasons. I can get offended with Anshu Moore's jokes about marriage. Like he said, you know, women can stand up and say, oh, your jokes are, you know, very sexist. No, it's not right. Don't listen to him. Don't watch his gig and move on. You know, find other kind of content that you like. You don't like jokes? Don't watch comedy at all. Watch serious stuff. Watch documentaries. Watch facts. You don't like facts put out by one side? Don't watch. Watch the other kind of narrative and propaganda that's doing the rounds. Please watch that. Only watch religious channels if you want. You don't like one kind of music, don't listen to that kind of music. Listen to the kind that you actually like. You don't like a kind of films which are where the women are exposing too much, where the women are exposing too much, where the men are cracking very loud jokes. Don't watch it. There is so much content available. Why can't we choose? Why are we getting offended? And Rahul, you know, you keep saying that this is not one religion specific. It's not just about Hindu deities. You also gave us examples of Jesus and the Pope. You also gave us examples of Prophet. But in all of the last 20 minutes, since we've been having this conversation, I've been flooded with messages on social media, on our timeline, where people are simply turning around and saying, oh, why doesn't he go and joke about the Prophet? Oh, has he tried joking about the Allah? No, he won't do that. He's only... These people, Rahul Ishwar, have not watched any of the comedy that this man has ever done. And I'm not defending one person. I'm defending everybody for their free speech. They don't watch the comedy. Nobody watched what Agrima Joshua had said or done. Nobody's watched what Munawar Farooqi does. He cracks jokes across religions because that's what he does. These are jokes. Why do we see some kind of serious religious intent in it? Please explain to me.
Just two lines. One, I am a person who filed a case against Sathvi Prachi for her unspeakable Islamophobic and anti-Muslim comments. Second, we are a nation which was led by Rajiv Gandhi, who rightly banned satanic verses even before many Islamic nations could ban it. So please remember, we have a history of respecting every culture, every civilization and every faith.
No, I don't think any of that was right. That's a different, exactly the point that I'm making. I think it should be free for all, not jail for all. It's not jail for all. It's free for all. Gunjan wants to make a point and then I'll go to Anshu. Gunjan first. Yes.
Tanvi, I would like to just one quick point that for long India has witnessed comedians cracking misogynist jokes. Bollywood has trained a generation where all the cheap jokes have been trained. Now we see a different lot altogether, where people are challenging political leaders, they're cracking jokes about politicians, and in a very sort of a very frontal attack sort of a thing we see. But that is the problem, that people who do not crack jokes about only opposition and they are cracking jokes about people who are sitting in power are being targeted. Secondly, as Rahul was saying, that we have to draw a line. But who decides that? First of all, we are talking as if like he made that joke. Where is the evidence? There's no evidence. And third point, that initially I said that in Amish Devgan's case, that court has rightly made a distinction. Two things. First, malicious intent, and second is offensive speech. Now, this section has been attracted here only deals with malicious intent, not offensive speech. So in this particular case, it does not attract at all. So he's wrongly languishing in jail. And these are all political gundas having political patronage, And that is how we see a pattern all across the country. There's a culture of vigilante groups growing. We have seen how mob lynching takes place, and we see now communities are being targeted. Tomorrow we'll see women will be targeted for wearing clothes. And that is the future we see. That how vigilantes are taking up law and order situation in their own hand. And that is where court has to step in and stop this rubbish.
But unfortunately, what has happened is opposite. He's still in jail, and he's been in jail for 15 days for all of 2021. If the High Court doesn't decide anytime soon, he's going to be for an entire month. Now, and I just want to point out, it's not about one political party or people from one religion. It's happening across the board, because one side does it and gets the freedom to do it, and the other side gets emboldened. In Munawar Farooqi's case, he cracks jokes not just on one religion or one political party. He's cracked jokes across the board, and I think people who show, the courage to crack jokes across topics should really be given that freedom, because they're obviously not doing it with any malicious intent for one party or for one religion. They're just giving you humor. They're finding humor sometimes, even in the most serious of the situations, and helping your life become a little easy, at least for those few minutes. Anshu, you wanted to make a point. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I wanted to make a point. Before any of the talks that we do give an impression that we don't care about people's sensitivities. All comedians do. That's our job. We get up on stage. Trust me, we get a live feedback when we are performing. We can see it in their eyes. This was not about people's sensitivity. Like the audience wasn't really saying, if the audience had stopped laughing at these jokes, he would have stopped doing these jokes many, many years ago. So this was not about an audience reacting or the general country reacting to it. That's first. Second, hey, we'll find jokes here. We'll find jokes in other topics. It's not that religion and politics are the only two topics. Trust me, we talk about a lot of other things which are great fun and audiences enjoy. But let's have it. If you want to do this, let's have a fair ground. Okay, comedians can't talk about religion. I'm daring to speak on behalf of comedians. We'll stop talking about religions because people's sentiments get hurt. Let all political parties also stop using religion. All of them. Right? Stop using religion to ask for votes. If anybody gets up on stage and uses religion, the word religion, any religion, they should be put in jail. Can this country do that? Can Supreme Court do that? If not, then we're just being hypocrites, saying that if a comedian talks about it, everybody gets outraged, which is basically just political parties. But if a political party uses the same religion or some other religion to garner votes, then it is okay. And I don't understand how that is justice.
Point well made. By the way, this election commission has been attempting to do that for a really long time. But obviously, the decision makers are the same politicians who will get impacted with this. So that rule that you're asking for will never really come through or be implemented. I just want to read this out for those who may have missed it earlier. When the police was trying to defend this action and defend arresting this comedian, this is what it has come down to. And again, there have been so many instances in the recent past. I'm just talking about this one because this is the most recent, and this man is still in jail. The police said they have oral evidence. Effectively, somebody went and told the police that I heard these guys rehearsing and they were cracking jokes about deities. And so I created a ruckus and I called you and please take them away. And the police is defending this, saying, well, they would have cracked these jokes any which ways. They were rehearsing. It would have happened on stage. What's the law here now, Sanjay Hegde, if, I am now cracking a set of jokes with my friends at a restaurant and somebody overhears it, is that offending their sentiments as well?
Well, it would depend on the police's sense of how they want to enforce it. That is the law. And that is why an attempt to joke in this republic, near Republic Day, is itself a big joke. You cannot attempt jokes. You have to elect them.
Well, point well made, and I think that I'm going to just leave this conversation here. and let it settle in our minds that a comedian is going to be behind bars unless the High Court intervenes on Republic Day. Is going to be behind bars for allegedly jokes he would have cracked that would have hurt certain people's sentiments. And they thought he would do that because he's done it in the past. He's cracked jokes revolving around religion, Islam and Hinduism, by the way, and so he's going to do it again. So let's not create any trouble and put him behind bars. Even if that was the intent, to ensure that there is no law and order situation, to ensure that nobody gets incited and starts rioting, the event's now done and dusted. It's been 15 days. At what point will we now see somebody stand up and say, this is not right, he needs to be let go? We had trouble getting people from the stand-up comedy circuit to come and speak here because they fear. They fear about their livelihoods and their lives now. They're all internally joking about the fact that maybe they should go back to their corporate jobs because this isn't a sustainable business in our country. Cracking jokes isn't sustainable in our country. Thank you so much for joining us.